Hey y'all, so today we are talking brushes and tools. I'm going to show y'all my favorite brushes, the ones I use every single day, and then I want to show y'all like my favorite brush cleanser, etc., some extra tools as well. By the way, some of these are dirty. Obviously, okay, I washed my brushes last night, but I had to get ready this morning, so what do? I'm not the type of person that has sets of like 2s and 3s of all of my brushes just so I can pretend like my brushes are always clean and my life is perfect. That's not real. Some of them are going to be dirty today. So let's just go in order of application. So that would be foundation first, essentially. You should know, probably if you watch my channel, I am a sponge person. I do have, let's see, this big pure foundation brush, which I very much like. I think it's a very good brush. I still like my sponges better. Right now I am using a Real Technique sponge. I can go back and forth between a Beauty Blender and a Real Technique sponge, and I don't really see a lot of difference. The main difference in my opinion is lasting power. The Real Technique sponges tend to crap out on me after about a month and a half. A Real Beauty Blender lasts about 3 months for me. That's where I see the difference. But in all honesty, I love the Real Techniques Miracle Sponge. Absolutely love it. I have no complaints about it. And I love their little mini sponges too. I think these are called like the Miracle Erasers or something like that. I just use it to blend under eye or bake. I mean, it is so handy to have something so little that really gets up in there. Now, I don't use this every single day. When I'm just trying to do quick makeup, I can just flip this one around, bring it to a point, and it works just fine. But when I want to go for a little bit more perfected look, I love this. I really do. I do want to briefly mention the Silly Sponge. This is a knockoff one I got for like $5, but they're all essentially the same. It's all a silicone pad wrapped in plastic or polyurethane, whatever it is. Anyways, I thought it was incredibly gimmicky at first. I tried it out to blend in my liquid foundation. Absolutely despised it. It just like moves stuff around. It doesn't blend to me. Maybe we need something porous that does actually soak up a little bit. It didn't blend. I hated it. It felt like I was just squeegeeing my face with liquid foundation everywhere, so I didn't like it. However, what I do really like this for is cream blush. I love to use it with my Glossier Cloud paints. Because of the density of it and the fact that it is not porous, it kind of mimics a finger in a way. I don't know, you're saying like, well, just use your fingers, and I do, and that works just fine. But something about this I like a little bit better. One, I can sanitize it. I don't like touching my face. I don't. So I do like using this, but it's also like the broadness of it. I just really like pats it in very well. So if you have any of these laying around, try it with like your cream, blush, highlighter, bronzers, because I think it works well. Also with skincare, because it doesn't absorb any product, which in my opinion is bad for foundation, but it's actually good for skincare because nothing's sinking into your fingers. So I really like it to like dab my serums in. And then for powder, I pretty much exclusively use a powder puff. I used to use a big fluffy brush, and I like that okay. I know some people are using a damp sponge now. Nothing compares to like a velour poof for me. There's just something about the way it presses it into the skin. It doesn't kick up your foundation. It doesn't get cakey. I love the finish when you use a powder puff. Now let's move into my everyday brush cup. This is a coffee mug with "Hey Y'all" on it that my cousin got me. I love it. I cherish it. I didn't want to drink coffee out of it because I wanted to keep it somewhere I could see it every day, and so I decided to store my everyday favorite brushes in it. So let's talk under eye setting powder brushes. Now my old school standby is the e.l.f. small tapered brush. This is just an amazing brush. I love it. This is my second one, I think, and I've already had to glue the ferrule back on it, but I don't care. It is so freaking good. Just that perfect egg shape to get right under the under eye. Now recently I did place my very first Morphe order. I ordered 4 brushes, and the ones that I got I'm actually pretty impressed with, and they're fairly affordable. Although I would never like link up with them as a YouTuber because, oh, I'm not touching that drama. Hell no. But as far as the 4 brushes that I ordered, I mean, I have to be completely honest and say I actually do like them. So I recently ordered the M438, which is kind of similar except more narrow and comes to a sharper point. I think it's one of their very popular brushes, like one of their best sellers. So I got this because I was thinking, okay, there has to be something better than this e.l.f. brush on the market. Yeah, turns out there's not. I went for the Morphe one for the first few days after I got it, but then just like force of habit, and because I enjoy the e.l.f. one better, I just went back to using this. Now, I will say with the Morphe one, I like this for dusting off bake because it does really get up in there where this one can't really reach. So it does have a purpose and I do like it. But I didn't need this and I still like the e.l.f. one better. So, but I do one of these two for under eye setting. Then for contour, bronzer, or even blush, I've really fallen in love with this brush. This is the Morphe M530. They call it like their small contour brush, and it is small. And something about that works really well for my face shape versus like I was using this to contour with or bronze with. And something about this just really chisels my cheekbones so much better. I'm really a big fan of this. In fact, I wouldn't mind having one more to use kind of exclusively for blush and then this one for contour and bronze because I'm using the shit out of this brush. You can kind of lay it on its side and get a really sharp line and then tilt it more flat and then buff everything out really smoothly. It goes around my hairline. It gets everything really perfectly. I really like it. I do. Then for blush, I have two brushes that are old school standbys. I love both of them pretty much the same, although I do kind of use them a little bit differently. This is the IT Cosmetics number 227. It's the Flawless Blush Brush, and I love this. I've used this for contour, bronzer, blush, multitude of things. It's a great brush. I love IT Cosmetics brushes. They are incredibly soft. They're great quality. I think they are a little bit overpriced for synthetics. I do. So when you can catch them on sale, like Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, etc., if you have 20% off coupon off of Prestige, I think that's a good time to pick these up because I think full price they are a little bit overpriced. But I love the fact that it's angled. I have always loved an angled blush brush because I like to blush a little bit higher on the cheekbone. I have a very kind of oval face and I don't want my face to look any more round. So I don't blush like the apples of my cheeks right here. I don't want to draw attention to like the center of my face, make it look more round, anything like that. So I like the more angular look. And this, it really gives it to me. I can really like get in there. And it's great even for like, I kind of pinch it together, contour a little bit. It works really well. Good multi-purpose brush. And then this one is a little bit different, more of a traditional blush brush shape, but I still really like it. The way it picks up product kind of on this flat side, like really dip it in, and then you can just kind of like pat it onto the face. Now this is an Elysium brush. It is the cube root. They have like a square root, cube root. They're all kind of mathematical names. All these were sent to me at one point in time, quite some time ago, maybe even like 2 years ago. And so, I don't know, I will try to hunt down a website or something like that, but I don't know. Now let's talk about highlighter brushes. I used to love a fan brush for highlight, but as I've kind of become accustomed to a little bit bolder, more sparkly highlight, a fan brush just can't give it to me anymore. You know, it's a lot softer, and it just doesn't pick up the amount of product and it doesn't deposit it and really buff it into the skin to give you that glow. And so I still keep it around, but I haven't been reaching for it lately. What I use for highlight essentially every single day is another Elysium brush. This is the Factorial. And, you know, I'm sure this brush style can be found elsewhere though, but it's just absolutely perfect. Kind of flat but egg-shaped, somewhat dense, and it just picks up products so beautifully, and the shape of it just, oh, it just hugs that cheekbone so well. I love this brush. I'm so glad I have it. Now let's move on to eye brushes, and the one I want to go ahead and mention first is my Lash and Brow Groomer. This is the Sonia Kashuk number 14. Very similar to the Real Techniques brush that I have gone through 2 of them. They keep breaking on me, so that's why I went and bought the Sonia Kashuk one this time. It's the one that has the needle style lash comb, and that's what I need. I'm a big fan of separation on my lashes. Like, that is my biggest goal, and so I always comb through my lashes. Now let's move on to eye brushes, which is probably my favorite part, and I'm just going to go in order of application. So this first one is an IT Cosmetics brush, and every single bit of the writing has rubbed off on it, but I want to say it's like a number 11 brush. They run this on sale quite often. It's their Flawless Crease or something like that. I bought this to be a crease brush, and I did not like it for my crease. It's just too dense. It packs on product. It's not good at really blending things out and making it very soft. But what I discovered I love this for is for putting on that base cream shade, like my Wet n Wild Creme Brulee that I love. So I do my primer and then I use this to dip in a cream shadow and then go all over to set it. It works really well for that. Next would be a big fluffy crease brush, and these two brushes are nearly identical, and I would not have bought this Morphe one if I had realized how close it was to this Sephora one. But that is my kind of one complaint about the Morphe website, is that all those eye brushes look nearly identical on the site. You almost need them in relation to another brush to tell the difference. Like this one and then the M433 looked essentially identical on the website. Anyways, this big Morphe crease brush is the M441, I think another one of their very popular ones. And the one that is nearly identical is a Sephora Pro Crease number 10 brush. And this is what I use for a transition shade, something I want very, very blurred out, almost, you know, not noticeable to the eye. And that it does a good job of it. It really buffs and blurs. So I am a big fan of it, but I didn't need to. And then for my actual crease, where I want the pigment to be blended, but I want it to show up a little bit more, or even like a cut crease, I use the Morphe M433. They're super popular one that's a dupe for the MAC 217. It is a really good brush to have. Now, I did have this Elysium one that I always used for that purpose. It's the Elysium Pie, and they really are nearly identical, but you can tell this one's just like really, really worn out. It wasn't the best quality. Next would be my flat shader brush. This is the Elysium Delta, and I love it. I use it for a multitude of purposes, not just packing on the lid, but even like blending into the crease or doing like outer V, lower lash line work. I love this brush, and I really need another one. Just because of the dark pigments, I feel like I need maybe two to really work between. This little baby is the Elysium Selection, and I use this for lower lash line work. It's absolutely perfect to really get up under there. Not a whole lot to say about it, but I am glad I have it. And finally, I wanted to mention my pencil brush. This is the Sigma E30. This brush really changed my eyeshadow game. I did not know I needed a pencil brush so badly, but especially with my slightly hooded, kind of almond-shaped eyes, having a pencil brush to really work the outer corner is just essential for me. There was no way I was getting those like sharp lines and really defined color up into the crease. Like, it just wasn't happening for me until I got this brush. I highly, highly recommend a pencil brush from some brand, whatever, in your makeup collection, because it is absolutely essential for me. I use this nearly every single day, unless I'm doing just a plain old like one shadow look. Alright, now the last things I wanted to mention are tools. Actually, I did want to briefly mention my Tarte eyelash curler. It's freaking awesome. Best eyelash curler I've ever used. I appreciate that it's not too round for like my slightly almond shaped eyes. I've had so many that like dig into my eyes because they just don't fit me. And so I love this one. Worth every penny. Now, as far as brush cleansers go, I do have my favorites. I did want to briefly mention the Cinema Secrets. I absolutely despise the way it smells, but I've never found anything that will spot clean brushes so quickly and have them dry in like freaking 30 seconds. So it is really handy, especially for YouTube, obviously for pros, but especially for YouTube when you want to have cleaner brushes. You don't want all these different colors on them. So I am a big fan of it, even though I freaking hate that scent. I don't like vanilla though. Now, as far as deep cleaning goes, there is only one option for me, and that is my Dr. Bronner's. I've mentioned it multiple times on my channel. You know, it's a good cruelty-free brand, and it actually cleans better than anything I have ever used, and that includes like dish soap. I use this on my actual brushes. It has like coconut oil in it, so it does cleanse them really well, but doesn't strip them, leaves them feeling very soft and moisturized. In fact, I've used this on some brushes. Like, I got a new brush, it's kind of scratchy, I thought it was cheap, used this on it, it's like 10 times softer. But I also use this on my sponges as well because it leaves them soft. It doesn't, you know, tear them up or anything or make them hard. I've used some soaps that will like harden up my sponges. I think it leaves deposits, residue or something. Anyways, this doesn't do that, but it will get my full coverage heavy foundation out of a sponge, and that's hard to do. So yeah, big fan of Dr. Bronner's. I wanted to close out this video by mentioning the Real Techniques brush cleansing palette. This thing has been a game changer. Like, if you're still washing your brushes in your hand, highly recommend getting you one of these. It is like next level of getting crud out of your brushes. It is so much easier to use, and it is so much easier on my back. It has a little hand thing. I can hold it up here without having to hunch over the sink for a freaking hour, because that's usually how long it takes me to wash all of my brushes. All right, well, I am absolutely sweating to death. I don't know why. I haven't been feeling well, so sitting in front of these lights has not been helping. So I am going to run. But let me know what your favorite brushes are, because I'm a big believer in quality brushes. I am. And I don't necessarily mean expensive brushes. e.l.f. has some really good quality brushes. But my belief is that good quality brushes can make cheap makeup look beautiful, and vice versa. Crappy tools that you don't clean will make expensive makeup go on patchy. So I'm a big believer in quality brushes and taking good care of them. But let me know what your favorites are, because there are a few little gaps in my collection that I'm looking to expand, so I would love to know. And other than that, I will see y'all in 2 days in my next video. Don't ever forget, it is perfectly okay to just be small town famous. Love y'all. Bye.